Before we start, I would like to ask your help to do two things. First, tell a friend or two who you think might like the show. And second, please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The more reviews the show gets, the more likely it will even appear in search results. Thank you, and now on to the show.
They make the trek out to Burning Man for a week and a day. After a lot of work, oh, there's a lot of play. Party, 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 drama, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Year after year, they come back to scratch that itch. They all say their lives have been changed. After many years, lives have been rearranged. That change is what this show is all about. You'll see the impact of Burning Man up and out. So sit back, relax, and cancel all your plans. These are the stories about the shadow of the man.
Hello, and welcome to the Shadow of the Man Show. I'm your host, Andy. Aloha, it's that Andy. Today, our guest is a very good friend of mine, Cab Spades. Welcome, Cab.
Mahalo. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, I mean, how long have I known you for now? It's like, because you're a friend of mine here from in Hawaii. God, it's been like many years. So, like, when was the first time you actually even heard of Burning Man? Like, when was what was your, how did you ever get like hooked, roped into going to Burning Man?
So I think it was 2005, and it was what was the year of that? That was the Psyche, I think it was the year. And my friend said, "Oh, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go." So I bought a ticket and went. So back then it was really easy. So
Oh yeah.
it was like 2005. So they already were there, and they just said, "Oh, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go." So, and they're great friends, and we done music and other stuff together. And
Were you living in Hawaii at the time?
I was in Hawaii at the time, and I was also putting on. I was also putting on the Optimistique festival. I think I need to double check what the dates are, but because I usually put on a wellness, education, dance, music, art, yoga, like sustainability festival or events that have those components, and farming and stuff like that. So they, these are friends of mine, and they said, "Oh, you," and I might have seen them out in clubs or other places, and they were friends from the North Shore too, and they said, "Oh, you got to go, you got to go." So they convinced me to go, and I bought a ticket. I flew in later than them, and I flew in on a Tuesday or like a Wednesday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Flew in on a Wednesday, rented a car, brought a tent with me, and it was just cake. I know. I just rented a car, rolled up to the gate on a Wednesday, bought a ticket, and went in. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Just so much fun." I mean, I was
So
just
did you
like,
fly into Reno?
flew into Reno, rented a car from the airport, of course, and then flew into Reno, rented a car from the airport, and then drove straight into to
Well,
Black
well,
Rock
back
City.
then, 2005, did you get like any kind of flack at all? Like, did anyone ask us like, "Where are you going? Where are you with this car for?" You
No,
going to Burning Man?
that was so early. I don't even think they were checking. I don't even think they even cared because I think maybe they rented a lot of cars at that time. But it was super seamless. And I think I did clean the car, but it wasn't like super meticulously clean. But I think it was
Mhm.
still okay. I didn't get charged.
Well, how many people were even at Burning Man 2005?
It wasn't huge. I mean, I could could look it up on my phone and see,
That's okay.
but it wasn't like, that was before it got really popular. Like I said, people were still half building their camps on a Wednesday.
Hmm.
That's when it was like that, where people would like start building their camps and hang out, and then, party, and then they would they would continue slowly, building their camp until Friday or so, or even sometimes later, and then break it down. But I think back then the build up and the breakdown were there was more time.
Hmm.
I mean, more people stayed on the playa. So I think there was more time for people out there just building and then breaking down. So that's what I personally remember. I think a lot more people were just on a slower, I mean, things were a little bit slower then too, it was I mean, the phones weren't as fast and it was
Well, I don't
crowded.
think the phones even worked there. Right? Like, but also like I think that like we are saying, there's probably what, like 20, 30,000 people or whatever, like it's not like, now it's like 75,000 people and like everything is completely set up by like Sunday. Like, yeah. But so yeah, so who'd you camp with your first year?
So I think my first year I was probably with the Hawaii camp, the Tetris camp or Tetrion. I think
Oh,
Hank Rogers and those guys. I think it was those guys, but I'm pretty sure it was that crew because it was like a Hawaii crew.
so yeah, so explain who they are.
So I think Hank is he's a big, was a tech guy. He's into sustainability also. And I think he did something with the Tetris video game. Um
Yeah, I think he went to like the Soviet Union. He was the guy who like brought it back, or I don't know. That's how I think he made his money was like in Tetris, right?
I think it was part of it, but that's I don't want to get because I don't really have those details,
Yeah,
dialed in, so I don't really want to, you know, explain that, and I'd rather people research that because it's out there.
yeah, so, yeah.
But and
So
then they can get the facts, but yeah, he was involved with that, and we actually had the Tetris video game set up for a few years, on the playa, so it was like that was kind of amazing.
was that like they had like a whole bunch of scaffolding and like lights and stuff, and so it was like the Tetris was like was actually the camp itself or something.
It was. I mean, it depends on what year. So there's several years and several incarnations of the Tetris or Tetrion camp. And so some years they had more of that video game thing set up and than others. But yes, that definitely happened.
So when you went in 2005, was that the first year that they did that, or they've been doing
Oh,
that?
I have none. So these are deep. 2005 is so long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I was because a lot of the years kind of bleed together. I just know that was my first year, and I was camp with those guys, but I was like running off doing all kinds of fun stuff. So I don't remember exactly what was at camp. Um,
How
but
big were they? How many
how
people were
big?
camp? Yeah.
Oh God, there was a fair amount for sure. Because a lot of because that's when I mean it depends on the year. So that first year that I went, I didn't ship anything over, but those guys, they get a container and they were shipping things over
Yeah.
regularly, so they had to bring a lot of gear. So some years the camp is bigger than others, so they have to ship a lot of stuff. So they needed a lot of people to help set up infrastructure, and it was kind of a big deal. So they needed a big camp, and I've been with that camp and camping with them when they've had a lot of people, 50, maybe 80. I mean, yeah. So and it was also connected to another camp, 1 or 2 or more years. So that's kind of fun. So there was a few years when the camp was Tetrion or Tetris was pretty big.
Oh.
Um,
So how
yeah,
many years did you camp with them?
I never count this stuff.
But
I'm so bad, but yeah, I don't. I mean, but for a few, yeah, no, for my first few years, for sure, and I was cooking, doing the chef thing for the camp because that was kind of fun for a while. Then it got kind of hectic, but especially when the camp was just ginormous.
yeah.
And but it's it's I was camp for them for a while, for a few years in a row, and then I
So how many years have you been going to Burning Man? You've been going like every year since?
every year since, but I didn't do the what are they called?
Renegade?
The Renegade and the COVID years, so I didn't go those years, but all the other years I've been going. I was tempted to, but I didn't
Wow.
go during the COVID years.
So basically you're talking almost 20 years, right?
Yeah, it's 2025, and I first started going in 2005. So, and then you subtract the COVID Renegade year, so
23 or so.
yeah. No, 18. Yeah, 23. Yeah. No, 2005. No,
Yeah.
20 minus 2 is 18-ish. Because it's 2020.
Oh, yeah. 20 by yeah, yeah, 18. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
So, ish. I always put the ish down there.
Have you ever gone to like any other like regional events?
Oh, we did that one on the Big Island. That was kind of fun, remember?
Oh, yeah, our regional. That's right. Rebirth.
That was so. And did we do one at the Camp Timberline? Was that us
Oh,
too?
yeah. There's at least how many? Two of them, right?
Two at Timberline?
Well, because there was the first one, God, what was that, 2012 or something? And then because remember we were supposed to do like Gunstock Ranch in Laie. Remember
I
that?
remember, and they freaked out. They said no way, and I was like, "Oh, backup plan." The
Yeah.
thing that was classic.
Well, for the listeners, yeah, I mean, it's a long sordid story where it's like we had a contract with them and we had it set up in advance and we had porta potties with like everything, like we'd stage all the stuff and the gate was about to open. We had people flying in from foreign countries and the Church of Latter-day Saints basically came in and said, if you'd let anyone in on this property, you personally will be arrested. And we're like, but that's illegal. And they were just like, we don't care. So we had to scramble. And then that's where we found Camp Timberline, right? And so we had a kind of a smaller event there. And then they did that with the next year? Was it just one more year after that?
It's so bad with I don't remember, but
Yeah.
maybe one or two. I'm not sure the next year was. If
This is
there was
on
one the next year.
Yeah, this is on the island of Oahu. And then Rebirth was our thing on the Big Island because that we did that 2006, 7, and 8, right?
That was fun at the Shire. Oh, in the
Yeah.
mud. That was fun. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So that was out of the jungle. It was this old like cane field, right? And which was like on top of like an old like lava field. Right?
It was amazing. I love that. It was good. It was like so magical. I mean, there's so much space out there.
Yeah. Well, that's so hopefully, people can get together and do it again. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. I mean, that's the fun part, and just getting the right people together. And even on Oahu, there's some great places. It's just about coordinating. Um, and
Yeah. I mean, I think you need to have the landlord kind of buy into it. It's like, I mean, if you, I mean, there's different events you can do. It's like you can do kind of small events, and not worry too much about like liability and permits and things like that. Like originally, like when we first started up in 2002, like we were going out to Makua, like on the west side, and
yeah,
which it took us a while to realize that it's like it wasn't actually legal to camp there, but it was just kind of like a first come first serve. Like I think there was like the cop would come through like once a day or something, and as long as he weren't like cause trouble, I mean it's like hey, people would just kind of go out there and camp. I haven't kind of been there in years though. I mean, I'm sure it's entirely changed by now.
oh yeah. But people used to camp there just to wake up and check out the swim with the dolphins in the morning. And
Oh yeah.
that was just the kind of Makua is like this it has been, I think historically been this go-to okay camp place for a while. I mean, especially during that time.
Hmm.
But like you said, I think the things have gotten more strict over the years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also I think that the homeless population has kind of expanded as well, you know. And I'm not sure what Makua is like now, you know. But yeah, I mean we had like I don't know 30, 40, 50 people. I mean, and with no generators and just kind of like acoustic music, and we'd have like a bonfire. We'd do like beach cleanups and stuff, and it was great. It was fabulous, you know. I think like what blew it out of the water was like eventually at some point like there were some like DJs who were like in the dance kind of crowd who were like it's like you need to like do this bigger and we need to have like generators and power and like and I think like we were gonna have like another event. It was gonna be like a couple of hundred people or something, and then that's when like the state like I don't know. I got like some random email from like Department of like Land and Natural Resources, and they were just like, "You will not be holding this event at Makua." Again, it's like, you will be arrested. And I was like, oh, I guess we won't do that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. When you get too big, yeah, you need to be at a place where you're not going to be you know, targeted. Um,
Well,
and,
it's kind
and, and once you get that big, I think it's kind of hard because if you open up that to that many people, then there's going to be people that are going to be irresponsible and
oh
not
yeah.
do the right thing. So
Yeah.
it does make sense. I understand. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Burning Man itself, you know? It's like when 1990, there was what, like 80 people. 91 was probably like 200. I think it kind of doubled, so it's like 200, 400, 800. Like I mean, so I think it's like once you kind of reach a certain critical mass, it's like are we is this still just like a bunch of friends just camping? Or, it's like, oh, now we have to have like year-round infrastructure. Now we have to have like permits, and we got to like liaison like with the government and have like liability insurance and like, smash cut to now, it's like, 75,000 people. It's like people say, oh, the bureaucracy of Burning Man, it's like, well, how do you think you're gonna do it with 75,000 people?
Yeah, that many people flying to the airport and yeah, and people dying and people being born. But yeah, it's yeah, it's definitely in an airport. I mean, it's definitely there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you've been going almost 20 years or 18 years or so. You've seen a lot happen at Burning Man, So you first camped at Tetrion, like where have you camped since then? Have you just kind of just each year kind of gone on like camped at a different place?
Sometimes I do like the walk into the free camping. Randomly I camp with I think I was supposed to camp with Matt Call one year. I think
Oh
we
yeah.
couldn't find camp, so we camped with Camp Walter. That was cool. That was a
I
classic.
heard Camp
Yeah,
Walter.
Camp Walter. They have the VW bus and for some reason we couldn't find that original, with Mac and Dave. So I was going to camp with those guys, but we couldn't find them. But we just, the Walter guy said that we can camp there, so I camped there. That was a cool year. Past couple of years I've been camping with Massage and Joy, doing massage, doing
Mm.
body work. Where else have I camped? Um, and then just random spots in the open camping world. That's kind of fun. Um, so where else? I mean, there's probably a couple other places I just can't remember off the top of my head. But that Walter year was amazing. It was such great weather and just phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever like
Oh
volunteered
no,
for?
no. What's that?
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, I did camp with another group that's kind of popular. What's the name of the camp? What's it called? Just had it on the top of my tongue. tip of my tongue.
Uh,
What's it called? Maybe it'll come back to me later.
Where
But
was
it,
that Pele's Fire?
yeah, yeah. But that was kind of. I still think that's an extension of Tetrion. It's
Yeah,
just not like a Hawaii camp. So
yeah.
I always consider that under the umbrella of Hawaii slash Tetris.
Yeah.
Even So so
did you ever camp at the Capulina camp?
maybe is that your camp?
Well, only like years ago, like we used to have that like first Friday or not the Friday sunset luau. And we really had this like this big pig like on a rotisserie and like I think 2006. So there was
With
huge.
Seth?
Yep. Yeah, Seth was there, Jeff, like Mike Mong.
Maybe, but if that was that early, I was probably. I mean, because it sounds like so there's more than one Hawaii camp. So, um,
Yeah.
but I was with Playful Years a couple years, 1 year, 2 years, maybe 1 year. That's another camp, but that's an established camp that I was with 1 year. That was great. Those guys are cool.
So
Everybody's so different, and they're all just so unique at how they do stuff
mhm.
and what you learn at the camp, and setting up, breaking down participation, the people involved.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So all these years, it's like you've just been kind of traveling, like you going from Hawaii, traveling by yourself, just what, like flying into Reno and just like getting yourself out to the playa and camping in just different camps.
Yeah, well, different camps and the beauty. Yeah, I usually go to yeah, it's been fun. Because years ago I linked up with the going to the hot springs before and after. So it's nice to fly in and hit the hot springs before. And I usually teach yoga there at the hot springs before Burning Man, kind of get grounded on the West Coast mainland
Huh.
type
Well,
thing.
which hot spring you talking about? Like on the playa there? Like
No, no, no. It's a lodge, Sierraville, Sierra
oh,
Nevadas. Yeah, in the border of California and Nevada.
oh.
Uh, yeah, so I like to go in and kind of fly in there and just get comfy, and because just you don't want to go straight from Hawaii straight to the. I mean, it's just too much. Straight from Hawaii straight to the playa is a lot. I mean, depending on how much time you want to spend, but it's nice to because I do a lot of stuff here at home, so it's nice to take a little break and then
Well,
re
how does that like work logistically for you? Like coming from Hawaii, I mean, do you just come in with like a couple of bags, or or do you like have stuff like staged there?
well, yeah, luckily the Sierraville people were so gracious to let me store stuff there over the years because I've developed a nice relationship with them, and they're super helpful. And they've got a lot of space.
Hmm.
So I've stored some stuff there. And it depends on how I do it. So if before, like when I first used to go, I just bring a little tent and jump on the plane, and I could even bring my plane on the tent. I mean my tent on the plane, and then get a rent a car and just go in and buy stuff and go in. And then sometimes I have friends that are camping, and they would bring stuff in for me. And in the early days of the containers being shipped over for the Tetris camp or Tetrion camp or the other Hawaii camps, they would have the shipping containers from Hawaii go to Reno. So I would pack stuff into the container, and they would ship it over, and then they would just drop the container on the playa, and we just grab our stuff from there. And then
Would the
that that,
container go
that helps
to
with the
Reno
logistics.
or the playa?
No, the playa, or maybe both, probably both. But yeah, actually, I think both. I think you might be able to get a container taken from here to the playa. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of those camps, New York, a lot of these places are far. I think that's what they do.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
New
I know
York.
like New York, Boston, like a number of places do it. But I mean, it's easier for them. It's like they could just like put it on a truck and like, drive it out there.
But yeah, they put it on the ship and it
I
goes, I
just,
mean, I guess from the
yeah,
ship.
I'm still amazed. Like from Hawaii, I mean, it's like God, how expensive is that?
Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, because those guys were putting up a lot of big infrastructure, and they were doing a lot. I mean, some years the camps were pretty. Then there was a lot of stuff in those camps. Huge tents. It was ridiculous. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. And then they might do that, and then they might store some stuff. And they did have storage in Reno, but I do remember packing stuff to get shipped in the container.
Yeah, because I think they
Um,
did have people kind of contribute, right? So it's like you could, for a certain amount of money, it's like the individual people could like send stuff like on the container, and then it would, and then and also the container would come back too. It was like it was a round trip, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So,
yeah, I remember like I don't know, I just have this funny memory that they, it's like Hank Rogers, and he was fairly wealthy, and I think he kind of forwarded money for like a lot of this, and there's a couple other people who like, they put in a lot of money for this, and I remember they had like some sort of like some scaffolding and some lighting stuff and like shade stuff, and I guess that's how like the Tetris kind of thing like worked, or the part of the camp. I remember someone telling me they're just like, oh yeah, we rent that scaffolding in Hawaii, we put it in a container, we send it to Burning Man, and then we bring it back, and then we like we bring back the rental. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why would you like rent it and then ship it? It's like, why not just like, I mean, especially if you have money, like, why don't you just buy it in the mainland and then just leave it there, But I
yeah,
guess it was like a specific size of scaffolding or something, and I was like, oh,
but I mean, I guess there's always pros and cons. And that's the beauty of if you do have resources and or whatever, then it's and then developing the relationships, then it's like you can build it and see what it's going to look like before you ship it out there
oh yeah.
because building it at home, you're comfortable at home. The people that you know that are renting it to you, they can help you assemble it. They can tell you what's going to be best for what, and then you can practice with it. And then maybe I think another benefit, depending on how you look at it, is you could once you get it back here, then you can replicate your setup that you had out on the playa in Hawaii. So it's
Ah.
like I mean, it just depends on how you look at it.
Did
So,
they ever do that?
well, I was just thought of it. I mean, I was just thinking that we need to.
That'd be a
Uh,
great idea. I mean, I'm not sure they ever did that though. It's like, huh. I wonder
I don't think so either, but I think that that would be really helpful in terms of creating that interactive art thing
oh
and then
yeah.
making that connection of Burning Man and Hawaii and then allowing people to really see, feel, and experience what it is. So I think that would be kind of fun. Um,
Sounds to
and then
me
you can tell the
like
story.
you're itching to organize a container to go from Hawaii, and I'm just joking. I mean, that'd be a great idea, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? You think like people here, like on at least on Oahu? I mean, because like I'm not sure you could have a container like go around all different islands, or each island would have like the Maui container or the Big Island container.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It depends on how many people, and what they're doing. I'm not sure the rate, but it does add up when you're going and shopping and buying stuff, and not just the cost of it, when you're doing it, but
Mhm.
also the time. So, efficiency and all that other stuff. If you want to get practice, setting up what you have or using what you already have and then
Mhm.
shipping it over, whether as opposed to, going shopping and then buying
Well,
it and then
yeah.
doing,
Well,
I mean,
also
just,
like if you're talking about like you're saying like a pretty large camp, it's like you don't want to be like experimenting around with like, well, I wonder how this is gonna go together. It's like you don't want to be doing that like as you're setting it up on the playa, right? Like you want to like have that like figured out beforehand and then disassemble it, then put it in the container and then be like, okay, as per like, when we set it up before, let's set it up here now in the playa, right?
Yeah, yeah, because it's time. And you know how the weather gets out there and it's like you want to make it as seamless and as easy as possible. I mean, just think about this year and people
Oh yeah.
setting up their stuff and having it break and if you never set it up before, you know how actually, yeah, I had people come over to because I was doing massage and
Uh,
they just needed a reprieve because they were just kind of bent out of shape because some of the stuff it wasn't labeled. They've never put it up before. They didn't know how to put the stuff up. They've been traveling. It's hot. It's
mhm.
windy. It's been raining. I mean, so yeah, you want to make it as easy as possible and basically pre-assemble before you get out there because it's like, once you get out there, you want to have some leisure, but also not to be stressed and building infrastructure.
Well, you don't
And
want
it's
your
all,
entire experience to be just like toiling, and then all of a sudden it's like Labor Day, and you're like, okay, now I got to like pack it all, right?
yeah, the time is like, yeah, the time. I mean, so that's it. I mean, the bonds that people make while while they set the stuff up or the bonds that they break, the fights they get into, setting and stuff up where people have meltdowns or people just leave, so yeah, you want to make that easy because there's so much to experience and enjoy and learn and there's just so much that you can experience and you don't want to yeah, you don't want it too complicated, because you could burn a lot of, mental capacity trying to set up infrastructure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, yeah, even if you've got experience doing it, it's still can be a chore,
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, so you can see yourself to continue doing this year after year. I mean, it's
Um, yeah, it's still really fun. It's still really rewarding.
where you like just
Um,
kind of being at like different camps, or I don't know. I find it like very adventurous when people just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go by myself for like camping, like open camping and stuff. And it's like wow, you know.
I'm used to doing that. I mean, but I have friends at camps all around. And one year I camped at Inflation Station too.
What's
Um,
that?
that's where they Christians camp, Christian Uhas. He's in Hawaii now too. You should interview him.
Oh,
He's got a great camp where they help people with their tires. So it's
oh,
a
air pressure.
air pressure. They've got pumps, they've got tools where you can fix,
Ah.
just flats, but also put air in the tires, repair tires, and other tools. And he's got skills too. He's really savvy.
Mhm.
Bent rim. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Inflation station.
So
Huh.
yeah, that's really key. But I think this might have been their last year, and they actually, they really did it up this year. Where they had, I think they had a DJ, and they had they had a wardrobe area where they had a boutique where you can get clothes,
Huh.
and they had the bike repair, so you can get your bike repaired and styled out, and pick up some fashion,
Wow.
and
Cool. Like,
have a drink. They got a good bar, and then listen to some music. So you could get a lot. Have a great experience in their setup.
well, how do
Um,
you feel like about like going by yourself and do this like kind of solo adventure thing like so many years? I mean, like I don't know. Like, does it ever feel like lonely, or do you ever feel like kind of like afraid, or it's like right, like at first, I mean, were you just kind of like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Like, who are these crazy people?
no, no, I loved. Actually, I grew up traveling, like going on surf trips, and sometimes I would go on surf trips alone, and then but I've got a lot of friends, so I've got so many people that I know. I mean, it's just like realistically, it's the opposite. Because there's so many people that I do know out there.
Well,
than
now, but like when you first were going, I mean,
oh, when I first no, well, those are the glory days. Oh my gosh, those are the glory days. I mean, because you meet so many. So if you don't go alone, if you don't go alone, you go with the crew. And this goes from what I've learned of traveling, surfing and doing going surfing in different parts of the world. And then if you go with a crew, you hang with your crew. If you go
Mhm.
solo, then you're gonna meet all these different amazing people that you've never met before. Because it's like it's kind of built in. You kind of you kind of you kind of have to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like built in. But my first year, I camped with my friends from here. So I went solo. I flew in solo, but I saw those guys there.
Was that
So
just
it
like
was
open
nice.
camping? It was just like you and him, or maybe a couple other people or something?
I mean, and you meet people, and sometimes I've gone with a couple friends, few friends that I met. I've gone, gone with them, kind of, gone with those couple people
Hmm.
before. But it's the magic. I mean, because you meet so many people there. Um,
Well, I think also you're kind of a little more unique. I mean, you're not your average person, I think. I think like most people would just be like, "What? I'm gonna go to this crazy festival in the desert with a whole bunch of people I don't know, don't look like me or anything at all." It's just like, I don't know, I mean, like, it just I don't know. I think it's a lot of, especially a lot of younger people nowadays, probably like have a lot of anxiety and stress.
yeah, I think at that time it was a lot easier that time because I mean Burning Man's that way too. I mean that's the beauty of it. It's just so welcoming. It's just like you want to go alone because there's so many great people to meet. And if you're with the crew, you're just still you're it's like you're bringing your home with you
Yeah.
and your habits or whatever else instead of being open to meeting all these other different people. So that for me, it's just like I just love it.
Well,
I
okay, this
met so
kind of
many people over the years. It's just been, and they're still great friends now. I mean, it's just like, yeah. So actually, this year there was a lot of people that I wanted to see and I didn't see, but I'll see them at some point.
does it get to the
But I
point
saw.
where there's just like there's too many people? You're just like, I can't see everybody. They're all spread out.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Or I mean, it's that playa magic where you just think about the person and they just show up, it's like boom, oh, there they are, oh my God. Or you get a message from them later saying, oh, I saw you, but you were too far away. I mean, I saw a person this year,
Uh,
said they saw me out there, but I was too far away.
so what,
Um,
like when you're on the playa, like what's your kind of schedule? Like, what do you do? Because you said you were at, what'd you say you now your massage and joy? So like you do, like, is that your kind of gift for people to give massages?
yeah, I was doing body work out there, massage out there, and yeah, so schedule wise, kind of daytime. I mean, it used to be night. I mean, it depends. I kind of mix it up, but I love the daytime party, action, daytime traveling, going to see people out there,
Hmm.
traveling around the city during the day, and then and depending on the weather, that's always
Well, yeah.
a factor. But it's the same thing. It's like it's never really exactly schedule.
Hmm.
But because I was doing body work, I was usually there, noon to 3, 4-ish.
Hmm.
But it depends. And then you can go out, late or early. Sunrise is, as we all know, is such a special time. Sunset is a special time. Wee hours in the morning too can be just magic.
But you got to sleep sometime.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's why I'm saying with the weather. So when it's hot, depending on how your living situation is, then if you have AC, then you can, sleep, during the day or sleep in later. Or if it's hot, then maybe you can sleep, in the early morning till 10-ish or something, depending on where you are and how much shade you got.
Have you ever like been in an RV, or it's like you've always just kind of tented it?
Sometimes I actually, when the weather got really bad this year, stayed at my friend's RV, and then I never really get an RV and go out. That's just too much to do.
Yeah.
But and then yeah, when it's been rainy, I've stayed in friend and my friends' RVs. I've stayed there. And but the thing is, if you have your infrastructure too comfortable, you get lazy. That's what I found.
Yeah.
And you're less likely to go out, and you're just gonna be like
Yeah.
you're too comfortable, and you just kind of revert into your default life.
Default
As
playa life. Yeah.
Yeah, or default regular life, it's just like you would do what you would regularly do, wherever you live. So it's like to
Yeah.
go out is like, because it's out there, or if you've got, your really nice setup, then you're just inviting people in. But it's just, I mean, you know that there's no way to see everything. It's impossible.
Oh yeah.
You're,
But that just kind of
um,
reminded me, like I had a number of years there before, because I took like 13 years off. I went like 2011, and then I went back in like 2024, right? And so there were some like the late 2000s. I remember just kind of getting like stuck at my camp. Like I mean, there were some years where it's just like I barely like. I mean, because we had a bar at our camp, and I mean, we like I said, it was very comfortable. Like everybody came to us, but then, I mean, even though I had a bike, like I barely even like used it. You know, I'd be like, I mean, I'd be lucky if I like went out to the band and came back. You know, and I remember like just like a couple of those years, just like sitting at the camp, and then just like. It's kind of one of those things, those creeping feelings when you're just kind of like, what am I doing? Just like, why am I here?
yeah, because you can be complacent. Yeah, Christian was saying that too, because he had the inflation station, and there was a lot that goes into setup and breakdown, and you're just there at the camp, and people need you at camp, or if you're there, they need you.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then I think a couple of years ago, then maybe 2 years ago, he didn't have the camp and the responsibility. He went out and was like, oh my God, what have I been missing? I finally got to go out and really soak up,
Well,
soak.
I kind of like what you're talking about doing, like the massage thing. It's just like having, I mean, like the schedule, it's like there's no like set schedule. It's just like, oh, every day from like, 7 in the morning until maybe 7 in the morning. It's like every 15 minutes the schedule. But like, like if you say it's like, okay, I know I'm doing like from like 1 to 3, I'm doing this, or then from 6 to 7 or whatever, like, and then in between it's like, oh, it's open. Like I can hang out with some friends, or I can go explore.
Yeah, I tried, so that's the thing. I kind of need to make sure that I don't have too many obligations out there, because I do drum with the ambient drummers
Oh,
for
what's
the
that?
fire spinners around the man, and
Oh,
for the man burns. But I also play with the some of those guys, Luke and Donut, at Sunset at Center Camp sometimes. So I like to have time to go do that too.
who's that you play with at
Luke and Donut, they're part of the ambient drummer group. Um,
oh.
and Devil Six Dave, and so um
You
so yeah.
bring drums with you too?
Yeah, I bring a drum. Yeah, I bring a drum. It's part of the stuff part of the stuff I bring.
I know. I just imagine like how much you travel with, because it's like I brought like two duffel bags. I think one was like 50 pounds, one was like 60 pounds or something. And I was camping with people who like, they had water and like power and stuff. And I just had like dehydrated foods and stuff. Like, and I was like, it's like, how do you do this? Like, especially coming like from Hawaii, like if you're just going to be traveling with like everything.
Well, I mean, the rent-a-car makes it easy. So one year I brought my rent-a-car back, and then took the burner bus in. But
Really?
that was when I saw you online. Remember, I saw you online,
I
and we
was
took
like
the
24, right? Yeah.
yeah, that
Wait a minute.
was
So you got a rental car, brought your stuff to Burning Man, went back and
No,
then
no, no,
took the
no.
bus
No. I took the rent-a-car back. I returned the rent-a-car,
and then took the bus.
then I took the burner bus to the playa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did my shopping with the rent-a-car, and then
So we just
then
rented it for like one day or something?
no, because I went to the hot springs. I go to the hot springs before, so
Oh.
it was like
Oh, oh, wow. So,
yes. So yeah, it's not just yeah, 'cause it's yeah, you got to get coming from Hawaii. You don't want to just fly. Yeah, just flying it. A lot of people do that. They just fly in and go to Burning Man and then come home. It's
well, you
just.
gotta have some kind of support system. Like you're either like camping with like, maybe a plug and play camp or like or you have like friends who are just like they're gonna like bring stuff. It's like, I mean,
But the beauty is, and you just got to trust it. But there's so much out there. I mean, the
oh yeah.
farmers markets out there. There's so much out there, and that's what was beautiful this year is that I forgot to bring clothes for the warm weather. Because I was still like I'm still gotta kind of traumatized from the early years when it got really cold, and I was just thinking as long as I bring clothes for when it's cold, just in case, then I'll be fine. But then I forgot to bring clothes for when the weather's warmer, and then
Yeah.
and the lingerie lounge was right, on really close. And it was like, oh, just get a wardrobe, just
Borrow
get
some
a,
hot pants.
get some new clothes, and that's what they offer. So, I mean, ideally, there's so much and costume cults out there. There's so much out there, and that's the big part of participating is like, and the people making food, and it's just
Yeah.
there's just so much out there that you don't, the saying the playa provides is the playa provides, it's like
Mhm.
there's so much
Yeah.
out there that if you go with minimal stuff, then it's really helpful. I mean, because a lot of people come with too much stuff,
Oh yeah.
and then it's like, and that's historically what you know that's happened, with a lot of people. So that means you gotta I mean, it's great to drop it off to the DPW guys
Well,
and
especially towards like
go
the
from
end of the
there.
week, like everybody's all just like just like rapidly giving away stuff, like it's like please take it.
But people offer stuff, so
Oh yeah,
that's part of
yeah,
what
yeah.
people do. They're offering all the stuff, and if they don't use it, then it's like they got to deal with it later. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's
You know
overabundance.
what my brother and I did this year because we brought these like dehydrated foods and we're like, yeah, it's like, do we really want to be eating that all week? And I was like, this will be like an incentive for us to go what I was calling foraging.
Mhm.
So it's like yeah, just I mean we just could just like wander around, just like wander up and down the street, and it was like oh you see a big line of people, and we're like oh well, get on that line, like see what they have, and it's like oh look they're giving out cheeseburgers. It's like oh well, like I mean there's people giving out like all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's the beauty, and then you get to taste what people make, like the midnight poutine
Oh
people,
yeah.
and then what's the cheese grilled cheese people? What's the name of that camp again? Moon cheese.
Uh,
Moon cheese is so good. Oh man, the
oh
moon
really?
cheese was man, it's so I mean, the people that they made this focaccia bread. They actually I met the lady, one of the people in
Huh.
uh, in California, when I was and near Tahoe, I think. And that was her camp. But I mean, that's the experience. If you just have your stuff, it's like it's so. But if you go out, it's just like going to a restaurant, you meet or a bar, you meet all these people, and
Yeah.
it's not just for the food, but you're the whole social connection. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then so it's magic. And then yeah, because then if you're stuck at camp making food for yourself, it's just not the same as going out and then having this experience
I
with
think
people.
it's good to have like a mix of this. It's like I wouldn't go to Brady and just be like, I'm gonna go with nothing, and then just like, just spend my entire time just like looking for food, But at the same time, it's just like, I'm not gonna bring like a ton of stuff and make everything. It's like I think it's good to kind of was like, oh, you bring some stuff and then you go get some stuff, I mean, You could make
Yeah.
things and share, and then you can go and have other people share with you.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, it's really fun to share food out there. I mean, especially at your camp, it's just you're bonding with what, with that food,
Mhm.
or with whatever you're sharing. It's like and it's just so communal. Um, it's just a thing to do.
So, tell us about Optimistique. How long have we been doing that for? So Optimistique is an event you've been running here on Oahu now for God, I don't know how long.
Yeah, I'd say it's close. I think Organic Sunday and Optimistique, uh, I think I was doing those before I was going to Burning Man.
The early 2000s.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I was doing those before I was going to Burning Man. Um, Almost positive on that one. Um, yeah. So those are that's like because I do permaculture, studying permaculture. And permaculture, I mean, there's lots of different ways to look at it,
Uh-huh.
but permanent agriculture might be one way of looking at it. And what you're saying about foraging, that's great. But building infrastructure with food forests, um, so that you're connecting with the land and the
Hmm.
plants that are growing there. So, and then you share those with the community. So that's one component, the permaculture component. You're sharing the food that grows and the
Hmm.
plants that grow on the land, not just food, but it's food, it's medicine, it's building materials, and those things can be intertwined into the modern community.
Hmm.
So I have an event that's one component of the event.
Yeah.
So the permaculture component is one, and then I usually have the wellness component, the natural medicine and the holistic medicine or holistic healing
Hmm.
and yoga stuff on the spirituality component. And then even the one year I really promoted the modern business component with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I had a my friend Ed he hosted a Bitcoin seminar in 2017 at Camp Mokalia. So
Oh,
that was
really?
yeah, that was an epic year. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he hosted a cryptocurrency seminar gathering at the event. So in the schedule of events, there was a crypto Bitcoin seminar.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was just phenomenal. So
So
um,
Optimistic is you have permaculture, you have wellness. Uh, you also like don't you do like food, like cooking too, or
yeah, that's the permaculture part where
oh, it's probably permaculture. Yeah, yeah.
part of because it's like the food that's I mean that's the beauty of it. The food that's growing on the land or in the sea and the animals on the land to the people. So it's like that one year that I think that was at Camp Mokalia where that we had a hunter person. They brought a pig that we
Oh,
cooked.
wow.
They killed. They hunted a pig and they brought that out there. That was an epic year because that was happening. We created like a permaculture garden on the property there at Camp Mokalia and their property adjacent across the street. So we had a lot of build time, a lot of lead time, so like months, so that we could make these gardens and have those gardens ready for showtime. So that was a super amazing year. We had sound healing with Sarah Supernova and an acupuncturist. So it's yoga and sound healing in the chapel at
Hmm.
Cambodia. That was Taimani Gardner played, Quadraphonics
Oh, wow.
played, Tommy Osuna played. We had like loads of music. We had it was 4 days. 4 days, day and night. Josh Jaffe played. We had like a little quasi like hot tub out there. People that made bamboo bikes were there. The King of Hawaii, Lancelot, actually blessed that event that year, 2017. That was a phenomenal year. But all the years are magic. So I've had so many amazing musicians amazing musicians and people. Paul Isaacs played over the years. Landon McNamara's played at the events. The Chance King's been, DJ Jerome James has always, of course, been there. And amazing yoga teachers. Root Hub's been there. He's a big part of, or Aloha. He's a big part of Burning Man, setting up infrastructure. Burning Man. He's been, been part of Optimistique over the years. So there's definitely a crossover. But the Optimistique thing is it's a little bit more connecting with the environment because you're here and then working on this whole quasi permanent thing and with the really focusing on the sustainability component where you composting the waste, even though they do that at Burning Man,
Hmm.
then and then planting the gardens. So this is something that I can see that's possible. I mean, I'd love to do it at Fly Ranch and just help those guys, partner with those guys at Fly Ranch, where you're making this permanent thing, so that each time you do an event, it's like you're building infrastructure
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
making it more sustainable, making it easier to do it. And then it's like you've got fruit trees, they're producing, or spinach bushes or other things that are
Hmm.
basically there because you put those there in the first year. Actually, right down the street, at one of the venues, and historically have moved it around to different farms.
Yeah.
And like here at the end of the street where we had it one year, there's a giant moringa tree that we planted. It's huge now. And at my other friends, Tim and Kiki, their farm, we had an event at their farm and we did a permaculture opening event. And permaculture was part of the event, and we planted trees there. Those trees are still there. So it's just, a lot of the stuff is like permanent.
Wow. Well, all you
So
have to
yeah.
do now is start your own cryptocurrency. You can have a cab coin, you know. And then you can sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree. That's a good idea.
so where does it all begin for little baby Cab? Like, where'd you were you always like were you from born in Hawaii or like where'd
No,
you
no, I'm from Virginia Beach.
oh,
Yeah, Virginia Beach. Yeah, the East Coast.
so like what got you to Hawaii? Like, I mean, how because you said you traveled around. I mean, you're a
So
surfer, like you
yeah, so I grew up surfing. So that was still surfing, love surfing.
like at
So I grew up
Virginia?
surfing. What's that?
You learn how to surf in Virginia?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
coast there. Actually, now my friends made a wave pool. There's a wave pool there. They've got the wave garden there. So one of the best on the East Coast, they say.
Huh.
So my friends have the wave garden there, and it's just opened this year. And so I grew up surfing there. And one of the longest surfing competitions in the world, I think. The ECS is there in Virginia Beach.
Huh.
So yeah, there's some really good surfers there. Wes Lane was on the ASP. I think he was, seventh in the world on the world tour. So he's from there. A lot of great surfers from a little bit further south. Also Brett Barley's from the Outer Banks. He's a really great surfer. There's a lot of really great surfers from there.
So how many years have you been surfing now?
Oh, I started, when I was 12, 11, 12 years old, I think.
Well, you're
So,
like 25 now,
yeah.
right?
So, So yeah, it's I've been surfing a long time. But I started surfing there and then I surfing in contests
You surfing in
and
contest, yeah?
yeah, surfing in contests and
Oh,
then I got sponsored, they gave me some gear and surfboards and helped me get surfboards and I was traveling. I got did get some sponsorship to travel and I built some great relationships and then you got to come to Hawaii because it's the mecca of surfing. So I came to Hawaii and I was like, wow, this is amazing and it's part of the US and so I sort of came here traveling. I went to Australia, Indonesia, France was really good, amazing. And saw a lot of the world, Barbados, Costa Rica, West Africa, Senegal, West Africa, I was surfing there. So I've traveled to a lot of places. Mexico, it's been amazing. So I've been there a few times. And yeah, it's just been a big part of my life and learning, these about these different cultures and connecting with people all around the world surfing. And you have your surfing family. So it's like some of my friends that I grew up surfing with who are living, still in Europe from Virginia Beach. And I would Portugal. I went to visit my friend Jason Griffith that I grew up surfing with in Virginia Beach. He lives in Portugal now, so I went and stayed with him and surfed there. Um, yeah, it's in California, of course. Surfing there.
so would you call yourself a pro surfer? I mean, we're like on the surfing circuit kind of thing.
I mean, so you matriculate, right? You surf your amateur contest, and then you surf your to be a pro surfer, you just surf a pro contest. That's what the early days. So I surfed in a couple pro contests. I think I surfed in a pro contest in Cabo, and and then it was like at that time it was to be a pro surfer, it's like you put all your chips into the pro surfing world. And a lot of people, it's kind of hard to like, you know, a lot of people, they might not have finished high school in order to be pro surfers. So because that's kind of could be your prime time of, 16, 17 to 20 something. Um, to put your hours in or travel or whatever
Hmm.
and getting your experience and or payday. But I saw the trajectory and being from the East Coast, like a lot of my friends, a lot of what you see is like people being pro surfers and then they they uh they get they become surfing reps and they're in the surfing industry
Hmm.
and uh I didn't really foresee myself uh just being in the surfing industry that I don't think that would have done it for me.
Hmm.
So when I traveled, I was like, wow, this is amazing to travel. And then being a pro surfer is, it's great, it's phenomenal. You see the world and it can create a lot of great relationships and do a lot of have a lot of phenomenal experiences. But what changed it for me is I saw the poverty in Mexico is kind of a heartbreaker. So I go to Mexico for the first time and I'm like, oh my God, it was like, you see the sign in San Diego where they have they have a parent pulling pulling a child or across the road and it's like caution, people may
Oh
cross.
yeah, the caution sign, like people like running across the road. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like you see this poverty like in Tijuana, and then it's like, and then to see yourself, this is like privileged pro surfer, and
Yeah.
it's like. even though you do have a responsibility, and now a lot is being done with the surfing world, they have definitely helped improve the conditions for a lot of people from around the world. And it also has been a gateway for people to escape, poverty.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but at that time it was like, what am I gonna do with my time on the planet?
So when
So,
did you discover Hawaii, or when did you decide it was like Hawaii is for me?
well, so after I graduated college, um, after I graduated college, no, yeah, it was when I before I graduated college. I came here in the spring of one year in college, and I was like, oh my, it was spring. It was like beautiful. It's caught some of the best waves of my life. It was like perfect weather. I was like, oh my God, I got some really great surfboards from great friend Jeff Bushman. And he was like he's the man. He could shape, surfboards for best people in the world. And he was saying that I came that spring and I had a phenomenal time. And he said, and then I was telling him about, I want to move here. And he said, well, he said you want to travel before you settle in Hawaii, because you're not gonna go anywhere,
Yeah.
especially at that time, because you're in a rural area, the North Shore, and it's like,
What
you
year
know,
was that?
that was 2094. 94, 95 is when
94.
I first
God, what was the
no,
North
no,
Shore
no, no,
like?
no. That was so 94, 95 when I first moved here. But before that, my before I graduated college, I was like 92-ish or something around there, 91, 92. It was right before I graduated college,
When did you
and
graduate? Like 93 or something?
92-ish is when I graduated Old
Okay.
Dominion.
Yeah, I graduated in
So
93 actually. Yeah, yeah. So what was the North Shore like in the 90s?
It
Wow.
was kind of quasi Wild West. It's still
Yeah.
kind of quasi Wild, but I mean, this is like
A lot of tourists, yeah.
pre like internet. It was like pre a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And but yeah. So there was a lot that wasn't here. But what was here was that's when I got into yoga, and it was before yoga got kind of popular. So, I was like one of the I went to yoga early those days,
Yeah.
or in the early days, and there was like I was the only student for a while. And then I got into permaculture, and not many people were into permaculture and the growing stuff. I had a mentor for that too, Bill Howes, and Carol Dudley was my Campbell Dudley was my yoga teacher. And so those are the things that I was studying here, because it's still kind of the Wild West, even though you're surfing, outside of surfing, it's just like a rural area. There's not really that much happening
Yeah. You got
outside
to
of
make
that.
a living. Like, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I was substitute teaching at the school because I have my degree. But let's rewind before we get too far ahead. So before like after I came here in my the year before I graduated, I mean the semester before I graduated, and I kind of fell in love with the North Shore and Oahu. And it was also springtime, so it was sunny and wasn't the rainy season. But regardless, Jeff Bushman said that you want to travel before you move here, because once you get here, you're not going to go in, because it's like you're living in a rural area. It could be like almost like a dead end almost. So it's like depending on what you do. If you're a pro surfer, then this is a mecca of surfing. So then you could do that. But I wasn't in that world. I was into like other stuff. I was into natural healing, holistic healing in the yoga world, the permaculture world. Those were things that I was studying while I was here. And that kept me kind of like, that was my postgraduate, that was my school. So, and then I
yeah.
went to massage school. And then worked with community, rural community development, kind of the rural renaissance is what I like to call it. That's part of what Optimistique is. So I helped with the North Shore Country Market. That was one of the first farmers markets on the island, and
Yeah.
that farmers market was that was basically in opposition to development. Like uh, so in order to fight development from outside developers, coming in and creating, lots of homes, then there was this movement to create a farmer's market, create a gathering place where you're sharing information and goods and resources and education, so that you would foster our local community so that we will be strong and create jobs. So you'll be strong enough to fight outside development. So that market actually just is still going. It kind of resurfaced just a few weeks ago. But I was involved in that, so I was and that kind of coincides with that vision. Okay, what you see going to a rural area, like if I'm going to Mexico in the 90s and seeing this poverty, it's like it definitely is a way to offset that poverty by improving the quality of life with through local sustainable agriculture.
Mhm.
So that kind of it filled that void, that kind of what I was looking for,
Yeah.
in a sense, because it gets like a purpose, and still
Yeah. Yeah.
like so it's also with that, that natural holistic healing and then the permaculture, food, medicine, infrastructure. So it's sustainable farming and things like that, or subsistence farming. So it's
Mhm.
different than large scale corporate like giant agriculture. So the
Yeah. Yeah.
quality's there, but and then you have diversity, and so that's kind of
So,
that's
like, after you discovered Burning Man, like, how did that influence you at all or impact you?
after Burning Man.
Yeah. How did
So
Burning Man
going to
like
Burning Man
affect?
was so it was I saw the scope and the scale, and that was like, okay, I could see uh how big it could be, how big things could be, and then connecting with people from around the world. And at that time, and there still is, the beauty of it is there is permaculture workshops still, and those sustainability components, and the year the Green Man was kind of iconic. I do remember that, where people were recycling some of the woods and other materials, and people still do compost. Even at our camp, I think we were composting some stuff,
Oh yeah.
and but also and then learning how people are living in other parts of the world, what people are valuing. And they did have what do they call it? Like a crypto or blockchain seminar at one of the camps one year. It was like a big part of one of the camps. And it was, I mean, the Bitcoin and the blockchain, my friend Ed is saying that was part of Buddhist economics, the
Huh?
Buddhist economics element movement, which is like, and that's true economics, where you can, and that was my degree in college, arts.
Economics? Oh really?
Yeah, that's what I studied.
Oh.
So it was like, so Buddhist economics, you take everything into consideration. So it's not just what the bottom line. I made, X amount of dollars this year. It's like, this is, my time is worth this, or this is what I spent my time doing. The dollars are this amount. My satisfaction is this amount. The friends that I made is worth this amount. The cost of the environment is this amount. So
Yeah.
it's like you put all those things into consideration when you think about Buddhist economics. So that's kind of what I was alluding to before, early in the conversation. Remember you say, okay, how much does it cost? What are we doing if we're renting this infrastructure from Hawaii and bringing it over? But if you think about the time, how much time it's going to take you to set up new stuff that you're not familiar with, and or the relationship that you're building with the company that you're renting from year after year after year after year, then it's like you could show them things that they could do that they might not know that they could do because of your experience at Burning Man, and they could show you, that you could help that company actually about,
Oh yeah.
how to ship stuff to places more efficiently. Just think of how good you get or how much better you get with the experience
Mhm.
after dealing it so many years in a row. Um, so that and then so that's part of the return, or that's part of the value of what you get when you enter into this like relationship of quote unquote business. Like you can look at business as a money thing, or you can think of it as a relationship thing, or you can think of it as a relationship and money thing and time thing, or people that you want to be around. And then, it could evolve from there. So it's like, so yeah, it's just how you're looking at, resources. And then as you develop these relationships and you realize, and this is with Burning Man, you see that there's all types of resources. So it's like everybody's got all these types of resources that might not be considered resources in the default world, but they are. Yeah, like you were saying before, with our homeless community, they have resources. I mean, everybody has
Oh yeah.
resources. So it's like just looking at how to plug those into places where they can be appreciated. Um, and that's kind of that's been a big part of yeah, that's been a big part of Optimistique, and that's been a big part of what I've been working on over the years, is looking at that and then coming up with like solutions or methods to share or what's possible. Um, so yeah, that's just I'm just over the moon now. It just um because yeah, I mean Burning Man's a great example of people being resourceful, and yeah, and as we all know, when the weather comes down and it gets muddy and rainy and you're a
They come
billionaire, you
together.
can't,
Like
yeah,
yeah.
you can't fly out. Good luck, Chris Rock going out, hitchhiking out, so it's like, no matter how famous you are or whatever, it's like,
You're stuck in the mud.
yeah. So, but you learn so much from that. So it's like, yeah, and then, people would you never knew how valuable a plastic bag was until you could
Put
put
on
it
your
around
feet.
your feet to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, so,
Well, I
so
don't go to the bathroom in your feet, but yeah. I went on taking to walk to the bathroom. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, to walk to the bathroom. Yeah. So it's like, oh, but still, even still, if it's an emergency and you're in a place and you need a plastic bag in a bucket, then, that plastic, so
yeah.
there's lots of
Well, it
ways to use a
definitely
plastic
teaches like
bag.
Burning Man teaches like resourcefulness. Like, yeah, it's like like you said, like working together, like in times of like adversity or just like in a project. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I'd never heard of this like Buddhist economy thing, but like, wow, that definitely applies to the playa. Like, like in so many ways. Like
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, Buddhist economics. Because yeah, everything's considered is part of the equation. So everything, and that's true. That's when you talk, with indigenous cultures, it's part of the deal. Is that everything's taken into consideration. You're not gonna not consider the environment when you're doing something
mhm.
because you have to. It's like you're going to be in that environment regardless, so you can't not. So
Yeah,
so you could assume that, yeah, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of inclusive. Yeah, it's holistic thinking.
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 it's whole, or you could call it holistic
yeah,
economic.
yeah.
Um,
A good general term. All right. Well, we've been going almost an hour and 18 now. It's
Wow.
reaching the limit of the show. But man, this has been a great episode. Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you. I'm over the moon, man. This is so
Yeah.
much fun. Wow. I didn't, the time flies.
I know. It could be like we could talk for hours. Well, anyway, thanks, Cab.
Thank you. Any more last closings, comments or anything? Or is this,
Well, let's see. Well, you got any plugs? I mean, I'll put in the show notes like a link to Optimistique, right? You have a like a website or something, right? Like,
yeah, optimistique.com.
like, how do you spell it? Is it OPTYMY?
OPTIMYSSTIQUE.com.
Yeah, two S's, MYSS.
Two S's, yeah.
Oh, two S's.
Yeah. So there's Yanni with one S, and I've got two. Good.
Ah.
I'm so glad that I've got two. Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, that the two doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it makes it different. Yeah, and it was before Yanni, obviously.
Ah.
But yeah. So yeah. Um.
All right. Well, thanks for being my guest.
Oh, thank you for everything. And we didn't even talk about us meeting out there. But anyway.
Ah, that'll be the mystery of the show.
All right.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. The more reviews the show has, the more likely it will even appear in search results. Also, please tell a friend and share this show with anyone that you think might like it. Word of mouth reaches quite far, especially in the Burning Man community. If you would like to contact us, please send an email to shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow Shadow of the Man on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and YouTube. The links for all of these are available at shadowoftheman.com. Feel free to use any of these social media accounts to provide any feedback you might have. Your thoughts on the show are greatly appreciated. Thank you, and see you soon for a new episode of The Shadow of the Man.
Thank you for listening to this latest show. We have to make another one, so gotta go. Don't worry, for next month we already have one in the can. Very soon you'll be listening to a new Shadow of the Man.